When we think of a palace, we imagine gold ceilings, crystal chandeliers, and royal power. But beneath the marble floors, behind the velvet curtains, lived an invisible army. They were forbidden to speak unless spoken to, forbidden to look a royal in the eye, and if they missed a single bell, they could lose everything. This is the forgotten story of the people who kept the British Empire shining while living in its shadows.
When people imagine a royal palace, they see chandeliers, gold-plated walls, silk gowns brushing across marble floors. What they do not see are the shadows moving behind those walls. Because for every queen who slept in silk, dozens of servants slept in freezing attics, and their lives were ruled by one unbreakable law: above and below.
The royal household was not one family. It was a class system inside a building. At the top stood the master of the household, ladies-in-waiting, pages of the backstairs, often from noble families themselves. They wore white gloves. They spoke directly to royalty. They existed in the light. But below them, housemaids, scullery maids, lampmen. They were forbidden from looking a royal in the eye. If a member of the royal family entered a hallway, they had seconds to disappear. They were not staff. They were meant to be invisible. A palace only looks magical if the labor is hidden. Many great residences like Buckingham Palace were built with hidden tunnels beneath them, miles of narrow corridors, coal moved underground, food transported in silence, laundry carried through secret passages. Servants learned something called the hurry-scurry. When a queen approached a room, a scout signaled ahead. Buckets were grabbed, doors disguised as wallpaper swung open, and housemaids vanished into the walls. The palace remained perfect because the workers had disappeared. Royal service created jobs the outside world never knew. There was the groom of the stole, a high-ranking servant who attended to the monarch's most private bathroom needs. There was the keeper of the swans, guardian of the crown's birds. The silver pantry men lived inside locked rooms, sleeping beside thousands of pieces of royal silver. 10 hours a day, polishing forks and trays with toxic lead-based polish. And before electricity, the lamp man, one man whose entire existence was to trim thousands of candle wicks so the palace would never go dark. If a single corridor went black, it was his failure. Upstairs, silk sheets. Downstairs, frozen water basins. Servants slept in cramped attic rooms, unheated in winter. In some months, the water in their wash bowls froze solid overnight. There was a no marriage rule. Most royal servants were expected to remain single. If a maid married or became pregnant, she was dismissed immediately. No reference, no pension. Many of those women would fall into the same poverty as the crawlers we discussed before. And then there was the food. After royal banquets, leftovers were sent downstairs. The upper servants took the best meat. Scullery maids received bones. Even below stairs there was hierarchy. Official wages were low, so servants survived on something called vails, tips from royal guests, small unofficial perks. Footmen were allowed to keep partially burned candles. They sold the candle ends for extra money. Housemaids dried used tea leaves from royal pots and resold them discreetly. Even in a palace, they relied on scraps. The palace functioned like a machine. Behind the walls ran a network of copper wires and bells. Each room had its own distinct ring. Servants memorized dozens of tones. A sharp double ring meant the dining room. A long chime meant the queen's chamber. If a servant missed a bell, it could mean immediate dismissal, no second chances. A royal servant was not wealthy, but they were not destitute either. They were the elite of the poor. They ate scraps from golden plates. They slept under a royal roof, but their identity was gone. Many were no longer called by their real names. They were footman, housemaid, lampman, human furniture. If they failed, if they broke a rule, if they married, they could fall from attic rooms to the pavement, from palace servant to crawler.